Good song.
Good choice.
To those of you on Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome to the Home Spiritual Center Sunday service for September 1st, 2024. Now, the opening prayer may have a little downer start to it, but it picks up. Just follow along. God, we are created in your image and likeness, yet we have warped that image with our own minds. Throughout the world, there is much injustice and much carelessness of the rights of other people and lack of personal responsibilities. We have excluded the divine from our hearts. The inevitable result is that people suffer, and there is injustice and corruption taking place throughout this world today. That's not only the lives of individuals, but also in the corridors of power and the council rooms of many corporations and nations. I pray that with the light and the love within our hearts, we will right all wrongs and that are taking place in our world and vindicate those who are being treated unjustly. We must avoid trying to take matters into our own hands via vengeance. Our belief in the power and justice, our belief in the power of our own light and love is strong enough to create justice and peace for all those that have been cruelly and unfairly treated by their fellow man. May the injustice and carelessness that they have had to endure be ended with the speaking of the following divinely inspired words. We release the need to blame anyone, including ourselves. We are doing the best we can with the understanding, knowledge, and awareness we have. There is no blame. There is only light and love. Amen.
Amen.
Faux and all. Reverend Jen.
I feel like it's a faux morning. It's something. It is something. Well, good morning again to my friends in the chapel, and good morning to our friends online. Here in the chapel, we listen to "True to Myself" by Ziggy Marley. I like to give that little plug so others can listen to that too. So it goes along well with what I'm going to speak on today. But before I get started with my message, I do want to do a plug for our Mind, Body, Spirit Fair, which is September 14th, so just a couple weekends away, and it's from 11 to 5, so you have plenty of time to come if there's lots of things going on. We'll have probably over 20 vendors and practitioners, so intuitive readers, tarot, Reiki, massage, reflexology, jewelry, crystals, a whole bunch of things. So, and then also there's going to be a raffle drawing. I think it's every hour. So come bid on, I don't know if it's a bid or a bid.
There's going to be both.
Both? Okay, so we'll have lots of things and you'll have chances to win prizes.
Where is it?
And it's here at the Home Spiritual Center. Look at the camera. So it's super fun to hang out with like-minded folks. And our fair is the longest running spiritual fair in the Salem area. So we're really proud of that too.
Yep.
So if you happen to cruise by and the parking lot looks really full, you can always park just a block south at the Maps Credit Union parking lot. So they let us just walk over. So we hope you see it here. So this morning, I'm going to share a message asking, who are you? Or who have you been told that you are? But first, a little bit more comedy, because I guess that's just the feel of the day. So a crowded United Airlines flight was canceled, and a single agent was rebooking a long line of inconvenienced travelers. And suddenly, an angry passenger pushed his way up to the desk, and he slapped his ticket on the counter, and he said, "I have to be on this flight, and it has to be first class." And the agent replied, "I'm sorry, sir. I'd be happy to try and help you, but first I have to help all these other folks." and I'm sure we'll be able to work something out." The passenger was unimpressed. He said loudly so that the other passengers could hear, "Do you have any idea of who I am?" And without hesitating, she picked up the mic and she said, "May I have your attention, please?" And she began, her voice heard clearly throughout the whole entire terminal. "We have a passenger here at gate 14 who does not know who he is. If anyone can come help find his identity, please come to gate 14. It's kind of funny. So, as part of my message, I'm going to share a little story or a parable. And it's said to be an ancient Hindu story, but there have been several adaptations or variations over the years. So one night, a pregnant lioness came to hunt amongst some sheep. When the shepherd saw the lioness, he shot at her. The shooting frightened her, and she gave birth to her lion cub and ran away into the forest, leaving her cub amongst the sheep. Luckily, there was a nursing sheep. She started nursing the newborn lion cub, and the lion cub believed that the sheep was his mother and started to bleat like a lamb. Bah! He drank milk and he ate grass. He became a vegetarian. He grew up amongst the sheep, thinking that he was one of them. After several years, the king of the forest, a big lion, came to the sheep's valley to hunt. There he saw amongst the sheep one of his own royal family members bleeding like a lamb, eating grass. What a disgrace. He came up to the sheep lion. "What are you doing here with the sheep? Why are you bleeding like a lamb?" he shouted. The sheep lion was terrified. "Mama, Mama, help me. This guy's going to kill me." But the sheep mother ran away, and the lion caught the sheep lion. "Don't be afraid of me. You are a lion like me." No, I'm not a lion. I'm a sheep." "No, you are not a sheep. You are a lion. I'm going to show you who you really are." And he dragged the cub to a big lake. "Look at your reflection in the lake. What do you see? Don't be afraid. Just look. See who you are. You have forgotten who you really are." The sheep lion saw his face. He didn't look like a sheep. He saw the lion's face alongside his. "Hey, I'm just like you. You are like me. I am you. You are me. We are both kings," the lion said. "Then don't bleat like a lamb. Roar like a lion. Go to your kingdom in the forest and enjoy the rest of your life." For the first time in his life, the sheep lion roared. No more bleating like a lamb. He had realized who he was and lived happily ever after in the forest in his kingdom. So I heard another adaptation that says that the lion led the sheep lion to the water to look at his reflection, and he had done that several times to look at who he really was. And finally, he was able to say goodbye to the flock and shed his sheepskin, and he was free. That one seems a little gentler. But so growing up as a sheep, the cub had no awareness that he was a lion. And many of us are or have experienced a misunderstanding about who and what we are. Sure, we have a name. We were born somewhere. We were born into a certain culture or maybe a certain religion. We have a gender. We have dislikes and we have likes. We all have our own personal history, and often we believe that that is who we are. Most of us have experienced some form of conditioning. Maybe we were taught that we are sheep. Maybe you were taught that you were a sheep. We are told who we are supposed to be and who we are not supposed to be. Good boys behave this way and good girls act this way. Most folks accept this. They believe that that is what they are or who they are. So who have you been told that you are? What have you been taught that you are? The sheep lion was told who he was, but didn't know who he was until he met the lion. We can see the lion as the teacher, or maybe as a teaching, or something that wakes us up. Some of us have been blessed with a lion in our lives, a teacher or a teaching. Who's the lion in your life? Maybe you've had more than one. Someone or something that awakened a spark within you. And just like the little lion sheep, you kept coming back to the reflection in the water. And I can relate to this just a little bit. I never thought that I would be up here speaking in front of all of you or speaking in front of all of you. I'd not seen myself as a minister until I did. I actually wanted to run away several times, but the lion kept coming back. The teacher kept leading me to my reflection. And some I don't see anymore. Some of those teachers I don't see anymore. Some have transitioned. And some are sitting in this very room. So in this story, the older big lion sees the lion cub being sheep-like with his flock. When he separates that cub from the flock and chases him or leads him to the edge of the water where he can look at it, where he can look at the reflection in the water, his own reflection. That's when he sees that he looks like the lion. He sees the resemblance and he realizes he's not a sheep. That's what the teacher or the master does. They lead us, or sometimes they push us, to look at our own image and that false personality or the sheepskin that we wear. With the goal being that we challenge the question of, who am I? I listened to a Unity minister's talk from some years ago, and he talked about, how do I really know who I am? And I'm paraphrasing here, but he shared how we discover this. It's like the lion. It is to shed that sheepskin. We need to be aware of it to shed it. Right? We need to be aware. We have to know that it's there. We may have become so used to it, it might be so familiar that we just accept it. We're comfortable. And we think, this is who I am. Or we say, this is who I am. But when we begin to feel how tight or uncomfortable the sheepskin is, we begin to look at what it really is. And when we do this, it starts to dissolve. Though it feels very real, it's not. Sure, it might be comfortable or again familiar for a while. All my family and all of my friends are sheep. I might have to leave my flock. This may feel like a risk or maybe the price that we have to pay for dissolving or letting go of that sheepskin. But letting go does not mean destroying it. It means not being identified by it anymore. And of course, we still play the roles of mothers and father, maybe our occupation, doctors or teachers. We're human, we're being humans. And that is not who we are. That is that temporary, those roles are the temporary sheepskin that we put on. And sometimes that skin sticks to us. It sticks to us and we feel like we can't take it off. And we can become prisoners of who we thought we were. As we claim our lionhood, we will discover these areas where that skin is sticking, where that sheepskin is sticking. Marianne Williamson, many of you know who she is, a Unity spiritual leader, a speaker, and author. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So the sheepskin is familiar. That darkness, it's darkness. We know how to function in it. The lion is powerful, and it's demanding, and it's brand new. We have that ability or the awareness and the courage to consistently come back to the knowledge of who we really are. We're all waking up. And sometimes we roar, and sometimes we bleat, right? But through this process, the sheep herd gets further and further away. And we may think that we want to return to the herd, its comfort or its familiarity. But then we remember that we want to be free. We want to see things or our own lives as they really, really are, seen through the eyes of the lion. Avakal Constantino, he's an author of Without a Mask and Discovering Your Authentic Self. He talks about conforming, and often that entails learning how to relate in the world, learning how to relate to other sheep. He says a lot of us do this by going to therapy, or maybe we go to psychic readers. We're looking for answers of how to relate to the herd, right? Looking for answers, when possibly the answers or what we're searching for comes down to leaving the herd. We feel deep down in our heart that there's something that's not quite right. Something that's not quite right with all of this sheep business. We may recognize that we've been conditioned or maybe programmed, used or abused. We understand that this is part of being born into a family here in this world, on this earth. And maybe we spent a lot of time, a lot of energy and money looking for understanding. And our lives are fuller for accepting some of what we are. But who am I still remains that unanswered question. When we recognize that we don't have the answer to the question of who am I, he says, that's when the journey takes a quantum leap. That realization alone that I don't know who I am can imply that we don't know who the other is also. We don't know what life or love or freedom or truth are. We're living out a false identity with the others that are in that same illusion. And this leads us to what leads us all. This leads us to all that we believe to be me or to be my life. And he says these concepts are thinner than the air that we are now breathing. When not knowing is accepted and digested, we open up to what he calls that inquiry. And it's not about analyzing everything and trying to make sense of it. It leads us to be curious. And inquiry doesn't look for answers or for revelations. It opens us up to directly experiencing who we are. He shares that detachment is the key. Slowly detaching ourselves from the ideas or the concepts of who we think we are. And it opens us up to question and inquiry, which allows that heaviness, that density to disappear. He shares that when we are open to feel that emptiness and that void of who and what we are, all of those things become stones on our path or just flowers alongside the path, gateways to new possibilities. They're reflections that Spirit offers us so that we can come to know ourselves. And finally, he says that inquiry is the catalyst for tremendous integration, an integration that includes the sheep and the lion, all that is me, all that is you, all that is us. So coming back to the reflection in the water, if only you could see yourself as you really are, the person each of us are in the eyes of the divine. When is the last time that you went to the water and looked at your reflection? Are you feeling like the sheepskin still is getting a little too tight? Like maybe you've outgrown it? Are others leading you to the water or back to the herd? So I encourage you to take time to deeply look at your reflection and consider who's looking back at you. Do you bleat or do you roar?
Roar.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm just going to lead us into a little meditation. So I invite you to settle in. Close your eyes. Lower your gaze. Adjusting in your seat. Sitting up nice and tall with your feet on the floor. Taking a deep inhale. Filling your lungs with oxygen and completely releasing on your exhale. Allowing your breath to completely relax your physical body, to clear your mind. And again, a deep inhale and a full exhale. And see in your mind's eye that you're in nature. And the temperature outside is just perfect for you. Maybe the sun is shining, warming up your skin. Maybe there's a cool breeze and you feel that on your skin. Whatever feels perfect for you. You hear the chirping of the birds, the rustling of the trees, just hearing the sounds of nature. You begin to hear a call to the water, and you start walking in that direction. It's a short walk that leads you to the edge of very still water. And you find a spot to sit. You dip your fingers in the water, feeling the energy of it. Taking in a deep breath and releasing it. You become like the water, calm and still. And look into the water. See your reflection, allowing any judgments to fade away. No thoughts or feelings of how you look, just observing. Now allow what is reflected back to you to only be beauty, to only be joy, to only be truth, knowing that this is who you are. You're an aspect of the divine, pure and full of life and light. And just take a moment to breathe that in. And bring that pure reflection back with you. Allow it to fill your soul. Coming back to this now, time, and space. Maybe rubbing your hands together, wiggling your toes, bringing yourself fully present. Just opening your eyes when you're ready. Everyone back. All right, it's the running joke. Get you zinned out and ask for money. So we're going to pass the basket. I don't know, somebody going to pass the basket? All right. As you get your gift ready for the home center, you can place that between your hands. We also have PayPal available. It's up on the screen. Just put your gift for the home center between your hands, whether it's in in the form of folding money, service, prayers, whatever that gift is. Just bless it, knowing that it will support the Home Spiritual Center in the most perfect ways, and that will ripple back out to the rest of our community, coming back to you. And we're so grateful for whatever you're able to give. And so it is. Amen. And I'll invite Mr. Walker back up for a little story time.
I've spoken to the tongue about the problem earlier, and it was blaming it on the eyes going too fast. So I'll try to slow them down and see if we can get it all in sync here. Closing statement from Reverend Connie, the Herb Lady Musings. What I give out. I only give out that which I wish to receive in return. My love and acceptance of others is mirrored to me in every moment. God's light is my love. God's love is my light. God and I are one. From Reverend Connie. Now the closing prayer is a Hindu prayer for peace. I desire neither earthly kingdom nor even freedom from birth and death. I desire only the deliverance from grief of all those afflicted by misery. God, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May there be peace in celestial regions. May there be peace on earth. May the waters be appeasing. May herbs be wholesome, and may trees and plants bring peace to all. May God's beneficence bring peace to us. May God's wisdom spread peace all through the world. May all things be a source of peace to all and to me. We lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide, because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. Amen. To Facebook and to YouTube, this is the end of the service from the Home Spiritual Center. Home Center out.